So, tinatapos na nga po natin. Kumbaga, isasantabi natin yung confidential funds, yung probe natin ng good government dito. And si Vice President Sara Duterte, meron din po siyang statement. Sinabi niya na with that nga po, at least kahit pa paano, matatapos na rin yung tinatawag niya na may relief daw po bala sa mga personnel ng OVP and sa Department of Education dahil natapos ng hearing. Kasi nung mga nakaraang linggo daw, talaga nababalisa, anxious daw sila, tormented. Takot daw sila sa buhay nila and that's why buti naman ngayon. And with the impeachment nga po, no, na isasalang na, at least doon daw po masasagot niya yung mga dapat sagutin, lalo na may proseso daw ng batas. So, sir, ano pong masasabi niyo? Mas mabuti raw na mayroon nga impeachment dahil doon sa impeachment ako lang yung nahabol ng mga members of the House of Representatives. Hindi na nila tiniterrorize yung mga kasamahan ko sa Office of the Vice President. Would you like to comment on that? Na yun nga, with your pag-summarize or pagtapos po nito ng confidential fund probe ng good government. And sabi niyo po, tatalakayin niyo na rin si impeachment proceedings, kumbaga, kung magtutuloy po sa Committee on Justice itong confidential fund probe.
Well, syempre, nare-respeto naman natin ang opinion ng ating Vice President. At kung sakasakali nga po na ito'y talakayin ng impeachment ng ating Vice President, yung mga bagay-bagay, no, yung mga ibang issue, siguro mas fully masasagot dun sa Committee on Justice.
In addition lang po siguro, just a comment, I'm not sure necessarily interrelated naman po sila Kasi yung proceedings dito sa briefing, not really briefing, proceedings po natin dito sa good government in aid of legislation, iba naman po yung tinututukan po natin as compared to impeachment. So I don't necessarily agree, although we respect the opinion, of course, that's the good Vice President's opinion. Pero for her to say na mas okay nang, I think that's the gist of it po, Marian, no? Tama. Na sinasabi niya, buti lang natapos itong good go para makaproceed na sa impeachment. One, the impeachment proceedings is separate. Two, we don't even know if it's going to proceed because as far as we know, there were only 2 filings as of late. And we're unsure yet of how that's going to proceed po, no? If it's going to really afford her that, sabi niya po, she wants to she's willing to have face-to-face. But when it comes to the impeachment complaint po, that's a separate matter. It's different from this. So we're not sure also kung the articles of impeachment itself would include this. So it really depends po on yung basis doon. So yung point lang being, parang these are 2 separate matters and I'm not sure if it really follows po, no?
Sir, I understand meron na rin pong parang nilalobby yung Makabayan Block or may nagpapapirma po nga nitong para sa, wanted resolution na po ng impeachment case at didiretso na sa plenaryo. Kayo po ba willing kayo? Are you in favor po para pumirma dito sa impeachment resolution?
Well, honestly, hindi ko pa nababasa yung laman ng impeachment complaint ng Makabayan Block. So, in the event na ibigay po sa amin to, pag-aaralan po muna namin kung ano yung laman nito.
In my case po, personally, di pa po lumalapit yung Makabayan. I haven't seen yet yung impeachment complaint po nila. So we can't really comment yet, having not seen the articles po. If I understand, Makabayan is only 1 article of impeachment. Tama po ba? And that's very different because I understand, comparing lang to the other impeachment, there were 3 articles, 24 grounds. So you have to consider in po all of that in totality before choosing which one to support po siguro.
Sorry. Follow-up lang, sorry, second to the last question. Sir, you mentioned po, Chairman Chua, several times na kulang po tayo sa oras. Tingin nyo, wala na pong panahon dahil nga magkakampanya na eleksyon. Do you think po it's better that this will be tackled, itong impeachment complaint, sa 20th Congress rather than sa 19th Congress?
Ano po? Pakiulit.
Sabi niyo po, wala nang panahon. Pinaka-challenge po, for example, para isulong nga po ang impeachment complaint kay VP Sara is yung time. Wala pong oras pa dahil magkakaroon na ng eleksyon, may kampanya, magiging busy, lalo na po kayo mga congressmen and senators. Kung sakaling umabot na nga po doon sa Senado yung bilang trial court, at ano po ba sa tingin ninyo? Better ba kung sa 20th Congress, tingin niyo po ba isa lang ang impeachment kesa sa 19th Congress?
Well, yung Senate kasi is a continuing body. Hindi naman yan matatapos. Meron pa rin naman 12 senador. Yung comment ko po ay personal opinion ko lamang yun. At hindi po yun ang opinion ng lahat. So, sinasabi ko lang yun dahil by February, alam naman natin, national campaign na. And by March, local campaign. Although, syempre, ang trabaho naman namin, ang mandato po namin is hanggang end ng June. So, in the event naman na itong impeachment talaga ay umusad, syempre, may obligasyon din naman kami na ito ay gampanan.
We recognize Vic Sumintak, Net 25.
Congressman Chua, sir, good morning. Sir, now that the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability is eyeing for a legislation requiring confidential and intelligence fund disclosure and penalties for misuse of that fund, may we know kung ano magiging hakbang ng Congress now that the Commission on Audit, naglabas sila ng report na yung Office of the President ay top spender ng 2023 confidential and intelligence fund, pati yun ba ay bubusisiin din ng Kongreso kung papaano ginastos?
Well, yung sa Office of the President is a different matter dahil yun may trabaho at may obligasyon ang ating presidente bilang commander-in-chief ng sandatahan ng ating bansa at ang kanya po ay it concerns national security. Ito pong ipinapasa po namin ay paglilimita sa mga ahensya na wala pong kinalaman sa national security, sa peace and order at intelligence gathering. Kami po kasi itong investigasyon namin is confined doon sa privilege speech ni Congressman Valeriano at saka ni Congresswoman Luistro.
And in addition to that lang po, no, and just to be clear, 2 points make it different po. No? First and foremost, yung nabanggit po ni Chairman Chua, is that in relation to yung good gov, we were talking about confidential funds by civilian agencies that are not necessarily related initially. And whether or not this piece of legislation was passed, we are going to act on that. If someone filed a privileged speech or a resolution, if there were any regarding doon naman sa President, if ever it was found to be used in matters not related to their functions, then I think the committee would also take that matter up po. No? But the difference is it did not happen po. Dito, confidential funds of a civilian agency. So, President, very clear po. In fact, if I understand po, sir, no, the COA, can you give us yung value po, sir, yung sa COA? Ano po yung nabanggit? For 2023 po ito, no?
For 2023, the Office of the President under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the top confidential and intelligence fund spender for 2023 with a combine of 4.56 billion based on the report of COA Annual Financial Report.
Confidential and intelligence funds po, no? We have to take note, yung sa good government, what we're talking about is confidential funds of a civilian agency. Intelligence funds po, which are related to national security concerns as disbursed by the necessary security agency. Iba naman po yun. And I think the bulk of my understanding of the news was correct. Yung sa 4 point something, majority of that was intelligence funds naman po talaga. So that's the first po na, the distinction between confidential and intelligence funds, between civilian and security agency. Second matter po na yung pagkakaiba nito, we will take note, wala pong notice of disallowance. There was no notice of disallowance in the OP, and that's why no one has filed any privileged speech or resolution. Dito po sa OVP, nagkaroon pa ng notice of disallowance. So that's one difference po siguro. And in fact, one of the provisions in the new piece of legislation is that the notice of disallowance would open up yung COA declassification. So I think those are the two kinds of distinctions. But in summary po, if ever there was a complaint, I believe the committee will hear it. But given po na one, it's not really, that was intelligence and not confidential. And two, wala namang notice of disallowance. I think we'd understand kung bakit wala po actually in the complaint.
Okay. Sir, one last na lang go. On the impeachment issue, sir, as you have mentioned, na kung sakaling dito sa House, lumusot yung impeachment, pupunta ng Senado. Yung panahon ang problema. Pero probably, sabi nyo nga kung Chua, continuing body ang Senate kasi may matitirang 12. Pero ang problema doon, di ba sir, based on the rules of impeachment, does not constitute a yung required numbers that is 2/3 to convict the impeachable official. Then what will happen to the impeachment case if ever makarating ng Senado?
Well, unang-una, yung gagraduate po ay may mandato pa sila hanggang June, end of June. Hindi pa naman sila, ibig sabihin, hindi naman porke nagsimula ang kampanya, ibig sabihin ay hindi na po nila dapat kampanan ang kanilang trabaho. So kung ito po ay sumampa, whether may kampanya o wala, talagang siyempre bilang mga lingkod bayan, obligado rin po sila na gampanan ang kanilang trabaho.
We recognize Ms. Vivian, then followed by Ms. Mela.
Sir, bale, 1 week na lang before yung mag-break, yung Congress. So, napag-usapan na po ba sa majority yung impeachment with this time left before mag-break?
So far, wala pa naman po.
And then, would you have information po kung na-transmit na sa Office of the Speaker yung 2 impeachment complaints filed so far?
Sorry, wala rin po akong idea.
Your reaction na hindi pa po natatransmit? I mean, if at this time hindi pa natatransmit?
I believe ito po yung what we discussed in the previous press con question of yung 10 days. Is it necessary that it has to be transmitted immediately within the 10 days or do they really wait until the end? But given that the 10 days has not lapsed, we can't see any issues yet po, no? So we'll have to wait and see po with the Office of the Secretary General.
And then sir, dito lang sa mga final po ninyo na bills so far, ano po yung mga nakita ninyo that prompted the filing? For example, yun po bang current SDOs, wala yung mga background na nabanggit po ninyo, etc.?
Wala eh. Ang sa SDO ngayon, basta't ikaw ay pinili ng head of agency, SDO ka na. Kaya nga medyo hinigpitan po natin dahil nakita po natin. At saka dito po, clearly, nilagay rin po namin na hindi mo po pwedeng i-delegate yung iyong trabaho bilang SDO.
Ano yung danger nun, sir? Pag in-appoint ka lang, hindi ka permanent employee na SDO?
Siyempre, kaya po namin na binigyan ng mabigat na para maiwasan yung pagkukuntsabahan ng head of agency at saka ng SDO.
In addition lang po, no? So generally, it's hard to summarize po, Vivian, sorry, kung what prompted us to file this legislation. But in relation to your question, the SDO, regarding appointments in confidence, mahirap rin po because the necessary nature of confidential funds, given that they're given, there's more impunity in relation to its spending, there's more discretion, and it's under less scrutiny, apparently. That's what we've seen in the Good Government Committee. When you have familiarity between the head of agency and then the appointed person of trust, it would breed some sort, not really breed, but what we would see is it could be a possible avenue for collusion. So that's why one of the things that was pointed out in the new piece of legislation is that it should be a professional, permanent office already. So once we've determined, first and foremost, whether an agency will require confidential or intelligence funds, then they would also need a permanent position which will not change from administration to administration. So less likely na po yung chances of collusion. In line with that, kasama na rin po doon yung dangers of further delegation. Mawawala rin yung point nung measures na anti-collusion if you will still allow the SDO to further delegate to other persons. In fact, our understanding of the joint circular was that bawal na po di ba, kung SDO po ako, bawal na po yan i-delegate. But given that we've seen that that is the practice, we felt that it is needed to necessarily spell it out in the law. So yun po yung ginawa po natin here, amongst other things po.
Okay. Dito lang, sir, sa yung isa nyo pang bill, yung imposing penalties for misappropriation of confidential funds. Wala pa po bang current laws punishing yung, misappropriation, misuse of confidential funds?
Actually, pag titignan mo kasi maraming po pwedeng maging punishment. Nandiyan dyan yung pag malaki yung amount, more than 50, plunder, So may mga so forth and so on, di ba? So ito naman po is in addition doon sa mga po pwedeng isampa.
We have to take note po yung legislation natin. As we mentioned, ito na po yung sinasabi natin, in aid of legislation. We already have criminal laws. In fact, some of the words that have been thrown around were technical malversation, perjury, falsification, plunder, all of those put together. We already have the crimes to penalize. The problem is, we can't really pinpoint the liability. Kasi nga po, for example, ang sinasabi nila, bilang SDO, I'm not liable kasi pinasa ko sa iba. Although alam natin there would be malversation, the question is, tama po ba yung pagpasa niya? Because that would define the procedure. Kung well and good, if they say, if the finding is allowed naman under the joint circular yung pagpasa nung disbursement to a different officer, then baliwala yung mga current criminal laws po natin. But if now we have this law that says bawal na po mag-delegate further, the mere fact of delegating would now open them up to yung technical malversation na sinasabi natin and other criminal laws that we already have in place.
Got it. Thank you.
Ms. Mela.
Hi, sir. Yan. Good morning po. Kong Chua and Kong Rog,
Rosalie.
balikan ko lang po yung statement natin, yung press release natin kahapon kasi nabanggit nga po na may pinapacheck na tayong 1,992 names allegedly not tied to allegedly OVP secret fund anomaly. Tanong ko lang po sana kung may update na sa PSA about this big numbers ng pinapa-verify natin. And kung sakali mang may resulta na, paano po ito makakaapekto sa ating findings? Gayong, tama po ba, di ba tinapos na natin yung about sa confidential funds?
Well, unang-una, inaantay pa namin yung resulta sa PSA. Pangalawa, wala pa naman po kaming committee report na ginagawa. So, kung ano man yung magiging resulta ng findings, makakaasa kayo na isasama po namin yan sa committee report.
So ngayong taon, sir, wala nang hearing, tama po ba? Ang good government.
Wala nang hearing. This year, wala.
Next year.
Well, kagaya po ng sinasabi namin, sinuspend lang naman namin, hindi pa naman namin tineterminate eh. So,
Open pa rin
open pa rin.
ma-discuss.
Yes.
Opo. Sorry, may isang question lang po, other topic. Kay Kong Rog, kahapon po kasi sa plenary, inaprubahan na ng Kamara sa ikatlo at huling pagbasa itong House Bill number 1113, rationalizing the safety measures and penalties relative to the operation of motorcycles. Kayo po as a One Rider Party List, ano pong masasabi nyo rito? And can you just give us parang short ano po bang ano nito, yung bill na to, short na description?
Sorry, Chair Joel, parochial concerns. Yung concern po natin dun sa House Bill 11113, this is amendments to the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. It's sort of a mixed bag po, no? Kasi we've been active in the committee naman po. We have to take note, first and foremost, this is a bill filed by Congressman Fortes and Congressman Baronda. And this is a counterpart bill already to the Senate version. On the one hand, it lowers the penalties, and we applaud that. It lowers the penalties that were already in place ng Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. We always said excessive po yung dati, minsan 50,000 yung penalty, 100,000 for simple failure to report yung transfer of motorcycle or failure to attach the plate, which sometimes there's confusion kasi hindi naman kasalanan ng motorista na walang plaka, na sa LTO yung problema. Time and time again, every year sa budget, kine-question po natin asa ng plaka because it is related. Kung walang plaka, minsan hinuhuli pa sila. And the hard thing is, yung motorist pa yung dapat mag-explain or mag-prove na may problema yung LTO. So these are you can see how controversial yung bill is. So on the one hand, step in the right direction po sana yung House Bill 11113 in the sense na it lowers the penalties. Pero kami po sa committee, we've been constantly arguing na dapat gawing patas po ito. Yes, nabungaba yung penalty. Yes, lesser na yung time nung imprisonment if ever there were some. Yes, they did some changes. Wala na yung second plate. Pero kulang pa po sa amin. Bakit po? Kasi may distinction pa rin yung motorsiklo at yung four wheels. Bakit po pag driving without a plate ang motorsiklo, magkakaroon pa ng penalty of 5,000 plus imprisonment for 6 months or 6 years ba yun? Pero pag four wheels, wala. Kapag we are talking of using of a stolen plate, sa motorcycle may penalty, sa motor vehicle, sa four wheels, wala. That's why we were very constant nung sa committee level sa transportation na dapat gawing Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Act. However, we understand that the primary authors, given the pressure that this is already a counterpart bill of the Senate, they wanted to pass it as is. Internally, what we talked about is ayusin na lang sa BICAM. So we naman let it be, no, but we acquiesced. We agreed to that. So yun. So for now, we voted yes, but with that colatilia that we still have, it still has further work needed to be done. Thank you.
We recognize Ms. Rosalie of UNTV and will be followed by Earl of IBC.
Good afternoon po, Kongs. Regarding po sa filed measures nyo po today, meron po ba dong explicit na nakalagay kung paano nyo po gustong i-revise yung joint circular ng COA and DBM regarding sa confidential funds? And are you requesting or directing them to revise it as soon as possible?
Well, basically, yung sa joint circular, dapat yan resolution lamang. Pero pinag-uusapan kasi namin kung gagawin namin itong batas na. Kasi dun sa joint circular, ito'y pinagsama-sama lamang ng mga guidelines ng COA, ng Defense, ng DILG, mga ahensya. Pero pinafinalize pa namin kung ito'y gagawin namin talagang batas na nang sa ganun mas tumibay itong joint circular. But of course, we will have to consult also with the concerned departments.
So sir, hindi pa to kasama dun sa filed measures nyo po today?
Hindi pa.
Okay po. Second question ko po kasi na-mention din po kanina ni Kong Rog, wala naman pong anything na complaint against the use of confidential funds ng Office of the President. Kaya po wala namang nag-iimbestiga tungkol doon. Pero gusto ko lang pong linawin kung yung filed measures nyo po, covered po ba nito lahat po ng national and local agencies na may appropriation ng confidential funds? Lahat, but not the Office of the President?
The legislation considers lahat po. So if my understanding is right, in line with what we will be filing, of course, every year yung budget tayo po yun po sa Congress with the power of the purse. In line with that, with the further guidance, if this will be passed into law, the legislation will take over all. So we are, in fact, we are expecting that we will have more scrutiny, including dun sa OP. Kasi nga po, we have now yung provisions in the law which would include yung declassification if may notice of disallowance. The difference nga being is that, as we mentioned, as far as we're concerned, this is the first time nagkaroon ng notice of disallowance in confidential funds. So that's why nag-target po, nag-zero in po talaga dun sa disbursement ng OVP and the related agency at the time, DepEd. But we're expecting po that this would widen the scope of scrutiny of the ICFAO, yung Special Audit Unit ng COA.
Okay po. Question ko na rin po kay Kong Rog kung ilan po ba yung members ng minority bloc sa Congress. Do you have any idea?
If my last count is right, I think there are 23 of us in the minority bloc.
Kasi in relation to that po, kanina kasi nabanggit ni Kong Castro na may mga minority members na po nagpahayag ng suporta dun sa impeachment complaint niya. Are you went to support once na-verify niyo po at nabasa yung complaint nila?
Well, I would have to see, as you mentioned, the art of impeachment. But for me personally, I have seen some offenses or some basis for the ground. So I have my own idea of what should be in a complaint, if a file po, no? But given that I haven't seen yet, although they have explained to me in an informal manner, I still have to see po yung complaint before I can really throw my support behind any impeachment complaint po.
Alright, kung sa majority bloc hindi pa napag-uusapan yung about sa impeachment, sa minority bloc napag-uusapan?
Napag-uusapan po to in the sense na it's news already, may nag-file, we're talking about ano kaya mangyayari dito, but it's not a concerted effort po, no? There is no one movement by the minority bloc to file an impeachment complaint if yun po yung tanong eh. But given that members of the minority bloc, that being yung Makabayan bloc po natin, mga kasamahan natin, sina Kong, Brosas, Castro, and Manuel, given that they've already filed a complaint, they've been going around po and asking us for support. So in a sense, we have talked about the merits, but nothing yet that's formal in the sense na gumagalaw as one minority po.
Thank you po.
Kongs, good afternoon po. On related topic lang, sir, Vice President Sara Duterte still refused to appear before NBI despite ng kanyang pangalawang subpoena na nag-ugat nga doon sa death threats na in-announce niya sa kasagsagan ng komosyon with Attorney Zulaika. Any reaction lang po on this?
I think it's just it's unfortunate, although we respect siguro the decision of the OVP if yung opinion nila. I think the opinion was that they would rather just submit the subpoena because based on her lawyer's advice, not subpoena, based on the lawyer's advice, they can just file a counter affidavit. However, kami were of the position that the Vice President should take every avenue to clear their name, to clear the office's name, to clear her name. And that, in fact, to the extent that under Chairman Joel, we suspended one of our good government hearings so that she could attend. So you can see very clearly where we stand. We're here for her to be able to, we wanted to afford her the opportunity to answer po the allegations, even from other government bodies. But given that hindi she's not doing, it's unfortunate. And we repeat our, yung panawagan po namin that we hope that she participates, not only with the NBI, with all, I understand marami na pong mga nasampang kaso. I hope she participates with all the agencies as far as the rule of law is concerned po.
Other questions? Dexter, Chino? Kung wala na po...
Sir, wait lang.
Sorry.
Sorry. Hindi, kasi meron pa po palang statement si VP Sara regarding po, Sir Chairman Chua, dun sa 405 na sinabi, reported by PSA na no birth records from the 677 na una po natin sinabi. Sabi niya, dapat malaman nila kung paano ginagawang intelligence operations bago magsalita ang mga tao with regard to the mga documents about confidential funds. Kasi hindi ganyan kadali magsabi ka lang na walang nag-i-exist na mga tao na ganito.
Well, hindi naman po kami ang nagsasabi na ito hindi nag-exist, kundi binibase lang po namin sa record na binigay sa amin ng PSA. So, based sa record ng PSA, walang mga pinanganak or na ganito yung mga pangalan. Around 405 kung hindi po ako nagkakamali. And the rest po ay maraming kapangalan.
In addition to that po, Marian, the issue, I think, isn't only in how intelligence and confidential funds are spent, is kung paano ginagawa yung intelligence operations. Okay, for one, yung sinasabi po ng VP na dapat alamin po namin kung paano ginagawa yung intelligence operations. Kaya nga po kami nag-hearing eh. We had this hearing to find out how it was dispersed. And necessarily, with the dispersal comes how the intelligence operation, how it operates. Of course, it's confidential, so we understand that there will be some distinction. But at least give us the reason why we would know or need to know paano po, they would use that receipts, yung mga pseudonym if needed. But that's first po, But with that aside, clear naman po yung sinabi ng COA. As far as they're concerned, hindi naman po ito, I think it was Congressman Adyong who was questioning that. Hindi naman to basis to use pseudonyms. Clear in the circular, part of it is supposed to be documentary evidence of payment, itong mga ARs, dapat accurate po siya. Precisely for accountability purposes. Whether or not that's how the intelligence operation operates, it still needs to, based on our circulars and based on the proceedings, it still needs the necessary documentary evidence of payment. So that's how an intelligence operation operates is separate from the accountability that follows. So I think that's the issue there, why we're looking so much into yung mga ARs po,
In addition to that, kung babasahin natin yung joint circular, may mga parameters dito na nilagay to protect the identity of the beneficiaries, Yung mga may issue ng acknowledgement receipt. Isa nga po dito, nakalagay dapat dun sa envelope, it should be sealed. Tapos may nakalagay sa likod na confidential at itong sealed envelope, dapat ilalagay ito sa vault. So kung ang mga ilalagay naman dito, puro mga nickname, mga pseudonym, bakit pa ito lalagyan ng ganito kahigpit na safety precaution? Otherwise, kung po pwede naman pala mga ganon, di po pwede namang ilagay na lang natin dito sa harapan natin kahit kanino nababasa. Total, hindi naman malalaman kung kaninong identity yan.
In addition po, there's one more thing. If we're zooming into the ARs, we see yung problem po na sinasabi na fictitious names or pseudonyms or code names or ano man yan. How can you determine that if di nyo alam kung paano operate yung intelligence operations? But if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture confidential funds, one of the issues is mali-mali nga po yung categorization ng disbursement nila eh. it's not just payment of rewards. There was payment of medicine. There was payment of food, which were not allowed under the circular. So I think, and some of the ARs were used for those purposes. So regardless of whether we understand or we know necessarily how the intelligence agency or the intelligence operation is operated, the mere fact na mali po yung categories means mali po talaga yung disbursement. So talaga we really have to look into every piece of AR and their accuracy to really determine po yung liabilities of the officers involved. Yun lang po.
Sir, sorry, follow-up.
Last,
Go.
kung tama yung kanilang paggamit ng confidential fund, di sana hindi sila na-issuean ng notice of disallowance.
We recognize
Sorry,
Gino
sir,
of
follow-up
GMA.
lang doon. Doon po
Okay.
ba sa bill na final natin, dinitalya rin po ba natin kung paano ito, doon lalo sa pag-act regulating the allocation utilization of confidential funds?
Actually, ang plano kasi namin talaga na hindi pa namin ma-finalize is yung sa joint circular. Kasi nasa joint circular talaga yung parameters kung paano gagamitin ito eh. So hindi namin ma-finalize pa kung ito ay isasabatas na lang namin or gagawa kami ng resolution para amyendahan ng mga concerned agencies itong joint circular.
I think also in addition, it's out of respect rin kasi executive agency. Although they definitely, I'm sure, they've always expressed their willingness to cooperate and they will hear us out if we have comments. We can't really dictate ano pong mangyayari sa joint circular. It will only be a recommendation on our end. We have to have consultative meetings, and then it's not even final on our part kasi they can only take our word as advice lang po on how to go about it. But given our oversight functions and power of the purse, I think that's where the committee is headed now. They took a distinct direction in which may capacity po talaga yung Congress, which is to legislate laws. And doon po nagagaling yung House Bill, I forget, it's 11192. Yeah, yun po.
And siguro in the next scheduled hearing, baka ito rin muna yung i-prioritize namin. Papatawag namin yung mga signatories netong joint circular and then we will consult them kung ano ba sa tingin nila ang necessary. Dahil since sila yung gumawa nito, so siyempre, mas maganda naman na makonsulto rin sila out of respect dito sa mga ahensya at mga departamento.
Last question will be from Chino Gaston of GMA.
Morning, sir. Totally unrelated. Sa confidential funds. Morning. Sir, there was a resolution filed by the Macabaya Bloc early this morning urging the government to ask the President for clemency para kay Mary Jane Veloso. Will it find support sa mga congressman? Kapag dating dito, Mary Jane Veloso, yung OFW nire-repatriate. So, parang ano lang kasi exchange of custody lang yun para mabalik lang dito. They're asking for clemency. Would that be in the realm of down your alley to give support para mabigyan ng clemency? Yeah. Clemency kasi, sir, is granted by the President, di ba? So,
Yes.
So, may nag-file ng resolution lang, from my understanding, it's to ask the government to grant the clemency when she's effectively repatriated.
Initially po, first and foremost, yung clemency is an executive act. So, understandably, I don't think a lot of congressmen would be willing to meddle po into that. But given that, this is a high-profile case, it really would depend. First and foremost, though, just to clarify po, what's going to happen is there are positive developments that Mary Jane Veloso will be repatriated. That means we're done with the worst case, which was the death penalty po. Since wala naman pong death penalty, we can have a sigh of relief na she will not be, she will not suffer the capital punishment. With that said, clemency is a rather touchy issue because I believe we haven't seen it yet. This was probably tried in Indonesia. We don't know the proceedings, but there is an allegation that she was found guilty. There is still criminal liability. So if that criminal liability will translate into prison time here in the Philippines, that's a separate issue. And I think that's what the issue of clemency is. So, sorry, I just went about by explaining po no. But I had to explain that so that we'd understand that the worst is over. Capital punishment will not be dealt. But she's going to be back home where she'll be tried by our laws, by Filipino judges, by the Filipino people. The question now of extending clemency just because it was from a case abroad, I think that's another issue. And personally, I think it's a touchy subject po, no? I don't think we should send the message that we condone criminal acts that are done abroad. Definitely, we're against the death penalty, and that's why we really had to work for her repatriation. But if ever she is found guilty, and that would merit clemency, I think that's a different matter altogether po, no?
Kasi it might send the wrong signals if to give a blanket clemency to all OFWs who are found guilty abroad. Would that be an accurate assessment of what you're saying na pag ganun lang?
In my own personal capacity, this representation po, I think that's what I'm trying to say. However, I have to see the resolution pa po, no? I'm not sure if there are other meritorious arguments for clemency. Maybe I could see one thing possibly is that she has already served her time. That might be one aspect to it. So we have to see first and foremost if she will be considered guilty under our laws, and second, if the time she served abroad would be sufficient to cover that. If that is the case po, if that is where the resolution is coming from, then I could see siguro po more support coming from this House.
Sir, may pahabol si Vivian.
Sorry sir, 2 questions na lang kasi follow-up lang dun sa question ni Earl kanina. Dun daw sa letter ni VP submitted to the NBI, she denied making threats against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romuald. Hello, can you hear me po? Opo, yung denial lang po, dun sa letter, dinideny ni VP na meron siyang threats na ginawa against the President, the House Speaker, and the First Lady. Yun po yung first question. And then second question on kay Kong Gutierrez. You mentioned earlier yung timeline that provides for the impeachment naman, yung 10 days. But actually, the House rules state that if a verified complaint for impeachment by a member of the House or by any citizen upon a resolution or endorsement by any member thereof shall be filed with the Office of the Secretary General and immediately referred to the Speaker, and then the Speaker shall now have 10 days to put it in the order of business. So, yun. Your comments po. Denial ni VP Sara and then yung immediate transmission dapat.
Well, siyempre, that is part of her defense. So, alam naman natin sa law, denial is the weakest defense. Diba? So, anyway, siyempre, hindi ko rin naman alam kung ano pa yung ibang mga nilagay po niya dyan. But siguro, lahat naman po tayo napanood natin yung kanyang statement na mga sinabi. So, that is for the NBI to determine kung ano yung appreciation nila dun sa statement na sinabi at saka dun sa sagot ni VP Sara.
On the second question po, then I guess, be that as it may, I don't think it changes po the answer to the previous question. We still have not heard of the fact of whether it was transmitted to the Office Speaker. And it still doesn't change po, no? As far as the members are concerned, the way that we would see that, at least aside from yung 1/3 filing po, no? If we're talking about the current filing for the 2, the next step that would be tangible for us to understand that it's moving is yung referral to the Justice Committee. So it would still have that 10-day notice to act, the 10-day period to act on. So I think yun po yung basis na the congressman would say, wala pa pong nangyayari kasi wala pa po kaming nakikita. But yung as for the internal po with the immediate transmittal of the Office of the Secretary General to the Office of the Speaker, I think that would be best answered by the Office of the Secretary General.